What's up, Internet? It's Sunny, and I was thinking the other day, what is the reason for the left's policies, their bleeding heart mentality, their, I guess, guys to, make everyone, feel accepted and have this utopia, and I think it's utter just BS. I don't think they have good intentions with it. And here's why I say that. Over the decades and decades of democratic policies, they've always been, in the long run, not good. And even further back, Democrats have always advocated for slavery. They have advocated for, women not having the right to vote. They have always advocated for these type of things that are regressive. And they're still doing that today, but it's a little bit more sly. It's a little bit more tricky. So here is my opinion. This is my opinion. It's kind of like a conspiracy theory a little bit, but this is what I think. I think this is the reason that the Democrats are pandering to Islam and pandering to illegal immigrants. I will tell you why. So like I said, per history, Democrats have fought hard to keep slavery legal back in the day, and even civil rights. They filibustered the civil rights movement, and you can watch my video on why the party switch didn't happen. That's just a lie that they've told people, and people believe it to make Republicans look bad. Republicans have always stood for equal rights. That's why they were invented. That's why they have come to fruition, because they wanted civil rights for all. They wanted equal rights for all. And the reason why I say that the Democrats want Islam, they pander to it, they protect it. Every time a terrorist attack happens that comes from like ISIS or some type of Muslim background, they always try to say, well, not all of them are like that. And that's clearly true, but let me explain. In the Middle East and predominantly Muslim countries, they have a strong and still active slave trade. And they treat women like second-class citizens. So, what man in power who is evil? Let's just say evil. Not all men, of course. But there are some people, you have, your Harvey Weinsteins, you have your Bill Clintons, your Roman Polanskis, not Bill Clinton, but Bill Cosby. They've abused women in the past, and they didn't some of them got away with it, but they would like to just, have it all the time. They want to do whatever they want with women and, get away with it. And Islam, the evil ideology part of it, not the moderate or the conservative Muslim families who don't follow the evil parts of it, of killing infidels and things like that. That part of their ideology, they can get away with pretty much anything. They can abuse women, they can rape women, they can have multiple wives, they can have sex slaves, they can do anything to a woman and not get away with it because that's part of their doctrine. So if you see what happens in Hollywood and in politics and people in high places with lots of monetary influence and lots of just influence in general on the public, they seem to get away with a lot of stuff, and it starts at the way top. You can call them elitists if you want to. You can call it a conspiracy theory if you want. But you see it happen, and it's coming to light now how evil this whole industry is, whether it be, like with Michaela Maroney and the doctors taking advantage of children. It is everywhere. So, in the evil part of Islam, I'm not going to say that all Islam is evil. I mean, there are cases where people practice Islam and they are peaceful and they haven't had an evil bone in their body, so I'm not going to paint them all as evil people. But the evil part of it, that is, sweeping the nation in fear, they can have child brides. They regularly sexually abuse young boys. They marry young girls. They perform female genital mutilation on girls. All of these things are common practices in that ideology. And for Democrats to pander to them, and they want all these migrants coming in from these predominantly Muslim countries that think this to be the norm, if you think about it, if that overcomes our country, then the people in power are able to practice this without any, remorse or any, repercussions of it. And another thing is the slavery bit. Slavery is still happening in lots of places in the Middle East. They are slave driven. There's sex slaves, there's worker slaves, there's all kinds of slaves in the Middle East when it comes to the really bad part of Islam. And if you think about it, if the Democrats brought that over, because they're already pandering to illegal immigrants, they pay them pennies on the dollar. I mean, if this isn't common knowledge by now, you should know that the only reason why they want illegal immigrants to come into the country is for their votes and for their cheap labor. Democrats have always tried to get away with either not paying for labor or paying very cheap for the labor. And that's just not right. That's why I will not advocate for any type of Dreamer program or DACA or anything like that, because they take advantage of illegal immigrants who don't have their papers all in line, and they pay them under the table pennies to the dollar. So that's another reason. And Islam is predominantly male. All the men have the power. If you want a true patriarchal society, just look to Islam. And all of the feminists that are, standing up for Islam and, excusing their behavior and things like that, saying not all Muslims, even if it was the moderate Muslim part of Islam that you're pandering to, it is still heavily patriarchal. And I'm not one to be, like I'm a feminist and things like that, but I mean, you just got to open your eyes and see that if you were to take away Western ideals and take away, just throw away Western civilization because it's toxic or whatever your excuse is, you're going to be left with just degeneracy all over the place. You're not going to have your voice to speak. You're not going to be able to drive. You're not going to be... Because Saudi Arabia, that's one of the more, I guess, westernized parts of Islam. And they're just now letting women drive. And there's so many conditions for them to drive. It's not even worth it. Like, if I was a woman there, I would do it. But am I going to be really allowed to do it? It's going to be there on paper. But are their husbands going to allow them to drive? I doubt it. So... I can just see this coming to, it just in my mind, I think that this is something that they are trying to achieve. It's happening in France, it's happening in Germany, it's happening in the UK and all these other places. And then there's a few pockets where they're resisting to it. And the EU is trying to force them to bring in, all these migrants and things like that. What are your thoughts? Do you think this is the end goal of the Democrats and, the liberal policies across the nation and Western civilizations? Or am I looking into this way too much and I'm kind of getting Alex Jones on this? Let me know down below. So like this video if you like it, of course, and if you want more content from me, please subscribe. And somewhere around in the link in the description is my Patreon. Again, I have my first Patreon supporter, Wow Bill. Thank you so much for donating to my Patreon page. Thank you so much for everyone else's support just by watching and sharing and liking. You support me. No monetary is needed. So thanks so much and have a great day. I'll go do the same. Bye guys.